Dear students, welcome to today's lecture on meat science. Today's topic is national and international laws for meat trade. We have discussed different aspects of production or harvesting of meat, then meat quality, preservation, processing, etc. Now we need to understand about the rules and regulations in this topic, including different kind of standards and quality control measures. This topic is extremely vast, so many things I am going to present in the form of self-explanatory diagrams. In national category, we have Food Safety and Standards Act, under which there is Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. We are going to discuss more. And in the international category, there is WTO, under which there is Codex, is very important. Meat being a highly perishable commodity requires strict quality control right from slaughter operations till ultimate consumption. It is very difficult to examine meat and meat products for every pathogenic, toxigenic and spoilage microbes. Hence, certain microbes are relied upon to determine the safety of products. Importance of regulations. Regulations are important for quality and pricing. Microbial standard is a microbiological criterion that is part of a law or regulation, mandatory and enforceable by the regulatory agency involved. Microbial specification is a microbiological criterion that is applied as a condition of acceptance for a food or ingredient by a food manufacturer. Microbiological specifications are generally contractual agreements between a manufacturer and purchaser to check whether the foods are of required quality. Microbiological guidelines are non-mandatory criteria usually intended as a guide to good manufacturing practice. National standard for meat and meat products. The old regulation in meat trade in India was Meat Food Products Order 1973, which was repealed later and with a new one, that is Food Safety and Standards Act 2006. Besides, we have another one, standards set out with respect to meat and meat products by Bureau of Indian Standards, but those are mostly of voluntary type. All these standards are relevant to the quality aspects of physical, chemical, microbiological or biological aspects. It could be relevant to different kind of contaminants or pathogens or metals or pesticides or other toxic chemicals. Bureau of Indian Standard. It was established in 1947 as Indian Standard Institution as a joint venture of Government of India and industry to prepare and promote standards in the country. The ISI constituted Meat and Meat Products Sectional Committee under Agricultural and Food Products Division Council, that is AFDC 18 in 1958, to prepare Indian standards for meat industry. This committee comprises of scientists, technologists, manufacturers, government agencies and consumers. The standards are prepared keeping in mind the needs of industry, protecting the interests of both producers and consumers, and are reviewed periodically. Actually, BIS standards are not mandatory, they are generally voluntary, but with these standards any product will have better marketability. So here I have given a list of few such standards. Actually, they have standards relevant to every aspect of meat production, processing and fresh meat and processed meat, even for abattoir, for ante-mortem inspection, for post-mortem inspection. Here in this list we can see it is about mutton and goat meat, about smoked bacon, about ham, about pork sausages, about dressed chicken, etc. Here in this table, a several standard for several processed meat products and frozen meat is combined and presented. In first one row, we can see the standards for the processed products like corned beef, luncheon meat, cooked ham, chopped meat, canned chicken, canned mutton and goat meat. Here we can see most of the pathogens should be nil in 25 gram. Whereas in the second row, we can see the standard for different frozen meat. In this case, only the listeria should be nil and salmonella should be nil. Here we can see another standard for chicken sausages. Similarly, they have standard in BIS for every kind of meat and raw and cooked and processed products. In this case, it is for chicken sausages, uncooked and cooked, and the parameters are given with their permissible limits. Here we can see the salmonella should be nil both in raw and cooked. Yeast and mold can be 100 in uncooked, whereas it should be nil in cooked. Now we are going to talk about the new food law in India, that is Food Safety and Standards Act 2006. Earlier we had several laws, several regulations, several rules related to different kind of foods, and they were under different ministry at the central government. For meat, we had Meat Food Products Order 1973, which used to control or regulate different aspects of meat or processed meat or fresh meat, etc. Now this new rule is acted in 2006, which has repealed all the old rules related to different kind of foods, and one single rule is made in which the quality aspect and standard of meat and meat products is also taken care of. The Food Safety and Standards Act is actually implemented through the Ministry of Health at the central government through a national level authority called Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. So this is in short called as Food Authority, comprising of one chairperson and 22 members. It has got two arms. One side there is Central Advisory, State Level Steering Committee, District Level Advisory Committee, and then compliance through inspectors and other agencies. Whereas the other side there is 17 scientific panels, and all the chairmen along with 6 more members makes the scientific committee, and these scientific arms prepare the food standards. So duties and functions of FSSAI. Framing of rules, regulations, standards and guidelines in relation to all articles of food. Procedure and enforcement of quality control on any article imported into India. Guidelines for accreditation of laboratories and their notification. Collect data regarding food consumption, prevalence of biological risk, contaminants in food, residues of various contaminants. Contribute to the development of international technical standards for food, sanitary and phytosanitary standards. Promote general awareness about food safety standards through training for various stakeholders. Here we will see the enforcement system in FSSAI. So at the top there is Chief Executive Officer in FSSAI. Then it has got central and state level office. In central level there is Central Licensing Authority, which is at the FSSAI headquarters, and then there is regional level zonal directors and other officers for executing different aspects. At the state level there is a State Food Safety Commissioner for every state and UT, followed by there is Registration Authority and Licensing Authority. The registration is done at municipality or corporation, town panchayat, gram panchayat, whereas licensing authority is there is designated officer and there is food safety officers. Here we will discuss about licensing and registration of food business. As I told earlier, there is Central Licensing Authority at the headquarters appointed by the Chief Executive Officer of FSSAI. Then there is State Licensing Authority appointed by the State Food Safety Commissioner, and then there is Registering Authority at the town panchayat, gram panchayat or municipality. Actually there are two categories. Those who are very low level business, they need to do only registration, whereas those who are at a higher level, they need to do licensing. Now here are three categories of license: basic license, state license and central license. Basic license means when the turnover is up to 12 lakhs or less. Then state license when the turnover is more than 12 lakhs up to 20 crore. And the central license is when the turnover is more than 20 crore. Here we will see the procedure for registration and licensing. The procedure is almost similar in both the case. In case of registration, the application should be done in Form A. In case of licensing, the application should be done in Form B. Then the steps are given here. I don't want to go for details. There is submission of application with details. Then there is inspection, reports, and if there is any deficiency, it has to be corrected. The details are given here. Here very briefly we will see the regulatory enforcement at state level. Here we will see at the left side for analysis there is food analyst, above which there is accredited lab, and top of that is referral lab. Similarly at the bottom there is food safety officer, above which there is designated officer, and then finally food safety commissioner at the state level. Then the legal aspect, there is adjudicating officer, appellate tribunal, and then special court. This is how the law is enforced at the state level. Here we will see the different level of registration and licensing in three-tier system. At the lowest level, panchayat or municipalities, here the petty retailer or small food business owner are exempted from license, but they have to take mandatory registration where the annual turnover is less than 12 lakhs and their slaughtering is up to 2 large animal, 10 small animal or 50 poultry birds. Then there is state level authority where the slaughtering is 2 to 50 large animal, 10 to 150 small animal or 50 to 1000 poultry birds, or any meat plant with a capacity of 500 kg meat per day or 150 ton per annum. And when any retail chain operating not more than 2 states, all this will come under state level authority. Then there is central level licensing where the slaughter is above 50 large animal, 150 small animal or more than 1000 poultry birds per day. And any meat processing plant with a capacity more than 500 kg per day or 150 ton per annum. So they will all come under central licensing system. Earlier we have already discussed about the national laws. Now we will briefly see about the international laws, regulations and standards. Here mainly the WTO and ISO is important, that is World Trade Organization. WTO sanitary and phytosanitary requirements, laws and regulations ensure the safety and suitability of food for consumers. They are international norms by Codex Alimentarius Commission based on good hygienic practices, good manufacturing practices. The major standards governing international food trade is ISO 9000, now ISO 22000. Microbial standards are set by International Commission on Microbiological Specification of Foods and European Economic Community. Now briefly we will talk about ICMSF, that is International Commission on Microbiological Specification for Food. This is an well recognized international authority for microbial standard and affiliated to WHO. So they have a typical plan of sampling and criteria for making standard, which has got few descriptions like small n, small c, small m and capital M. Small n is about number of samples to be taken from the lot. Small c is number of samples permitted to fail a criteria. Small m is microbial count below which the sample is considered to be satisfactory, and capital M is microbial count above which the sample is considered unsatisfactory. Here we will see an example of ICMSF microbial standard for meat. Here we are seeing 8 different kind of meat, mostly chilled or frozen, and this is pertaining to one particular parameter, that is aerobic plate count. If we see the first line, there is 5 samples should be taken and 3 sample can exceed the value small m, that is 10 power 5, whereas no sample should exceed the value capital M, that is 10 power 6. If we see the n and c is same for all the sample here, whereas small m varies 10 power 5 or 10 power 6, and the capital M also varies. These two controls the requirement. Here we can see an example of EEC microbial standards for meat. Here there is 5 different aspects of microbial quality: aerobic mesophil, E. coli, Clostridium perfringens, Staphylococci and Salmonella pertaining to one particular meat sample. And here it is given same the N, C, M and capital M values for different parameters which should be followed, as I have discussed in case of ICMSF. Here briefly we will see about the food safety regulations in US. Basically here two authorities are involved, that is FDA, Food and Drug Administration, and USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. Additionally, sometimes CDC is also involved in these affairs. Now under USDA there is FSIS, that is Food Safety Inspection Service, through which they have several laws like Meat Inspection Act, Poultry Inspection Act, and Egg Product Inspection Act. All these acts are equally applicable for import or export of these products. In the left side we can see food safety regulations and standards working under FDA, and they had a new act, that is FDA Food Safety Modernization Act, or FSMA, that is passed in 2011. This is to regulate the food quality in different aspects in US. Here you can see the different category of poultry, red meat, eggs and meat products. They are subdivided as per the product and dealt with either USDA or FDA. The details of this is not important for UG students, but it may be useful for PG students. So I don't want to go for much details of it. Now we will discuss about WTO and ISO. They are most important for international trade related to meat and meat products. Due to adoption of WTO, world has become an open market for every product, including meat and meat products. To improve the quality of the products and services, many are opting for ISO. ISO is actually International Organization for Standardization, and their standards are called as ISO. ISO 9001 is mainly relevant for quality management, and ISO 22000 for food safety management. Now we will see about the WTO functions. It is most important for trade between countries to negotiate trade rules, implement trade agreements, resolve trade disputes, and review national trade policies. Basic principles of WTO. First is no discrimination, that is most favored nation principle and national treatment principle. Second is predictability, to respect of tariff, that is bindings, goods and services, and transparency, that is notification under TPR. And thirdly, free trade, that is tariff reductions and prohibition of using quantitative restrictions. WTO agreements. There are mainly three agreements under this. Number one is General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, or GATT, Basic Principles. This is actually the earlier agreement. Number two, Agreement on the Application of Sanitary and Phytosanitary Measures, in short SPS agreement. And number three, Agreement on Technical Barrier to Trade, or in short TBT. All member states, that is countries, must respect obligations under WTO agreements when developing veterinary legislation, even related to any meat quality aspects also. Here we can see the objectives of the SPS agreement in the right side, that is it recognizes the right to protect human, animal, plant life or health, and avoiding unnecessary barriers to trade. In the left side we can see the main principles of this SPS agreement under WTO, that is transparency, mutual recognition, national mod, harmonization and non-discrimination. Here we will see about the harmonization. The SPC agreement is actually executed and implemented through SPC committee, and there is three different organizations for setting the standards. Sometimes they are called as three sisters. So these organizations are for food related, there is Codex, for animal health related there is OIE, and for plant health there is IPPC. The Codex is a joint body under FAO and WHO, whereas OIE is a World Organization for Animal Health and IPPC is the International Plant Protection Convention. Here briefly we will see about the WTO TBT agreement. It has got three aspects. One is voluntary standard, then it has a role in conformity assessment procedure, and it has a mandatory technical regulations. It is helping in avoiding unnecessary barriers to international trade and non-discrimination through use of relevant international standards, and it is also for safeguarding the right of members to regulate illegitimate objectives. Here briefly we will see the differences between SPS and TBT. In case of SPC, based on scientific evidence, risk assessment from pests, diseases, additives, contaminants, toxins, pesticide or veterinary drug residues, or identify permitted food additives. In case of TBT, it is based on legitimate objective, that is national security, prevention from deceptive, human disease control, food labeling requirements, nutrition claims, concerns, quality, packaging regulations, etc. ISO standards for food safety. As I have mentioned earlier, ISO is International Organization for Standardization. These standards play a very important role for all the trade between countries, including food and meat also. So ISO 9000 quality management system was designed to meet the needs of customers and other stakeholders along with statutory and regulatory requirements. ISO 9000 provides guidance on the choice of specific model to be adopted for quality assurance in an organization. ISO 9001 is for manufacturers having their own product research and development. ISO 9002 is for contract manufacturers without any product research and development. And ISO 9003 is for commodity suppliers having only final product inspection and testing. Benefits of ISO 9000 quality system. It enables the user to identify and plan tasks and their method of performance. It cuts down the poor quality cost. It reduces firefighting operations and better job satisfaction. Marketing advantages, recognition and publicity. Reduced liability risk. Arranging a preliminary audit by an external agency, taking corrective actions on the basis of the external audit. Here we will see different specific aspects taken care of by ISO 9000 standards. In ISO 9001 deals with model for design, production, installation and servicing. ISO 9002 deals with model for assurance in production and installation. ISO 9003 deals with model for quality assurance in final inspection and testing. ISO 9004 deals with model for technical, administrative and human factor and services. ISO 22000 Food Safety Management System. This is the newer or modern version of ISO standards, and the ISO 9000 is more older now. So it is a generic food safety management system standard. It defines a set of general food safety requirements that applies to all organizations in the food chain. ISO 22000 can be used by primary producers in agriculture, aquaculture, dairy, including the animal husbandry or meat production and meat quality, food processors and manufacturers, retailers, storage facilities and transporters, hospitality sector including hotels, restaurants and catering institutes, and service providers to food establishments. Objectives of ISO 22000. To establish a food safety management system, that is FSMS, to plan and implement a FSMS for an organization to ensure that products do not cause adverse effect, to evaluate the consumer's food safety requirements, to export food products and penetrate international markets, to demonstrate compliance to all interested parties. Features of ISO 22000 standards. The ISO 22000 international standard specifies the requirements for a food safety management system that involves the following elements. Number 1, interactive communication. Number 2, system management. Number 3, prerequisite programs and HACCP principles. Secondly, ISO 22000 can be applied independently or integrated with existing management system requirements. Thirdly, ISO 22000 integrates the principles of HACCP developed by the Codex Alimentarius Commission, that is CAC. As I said previously, ISO 22000 can be integrated with HACCP. So it helps in conduct of a food safety hazard analysis, identify the critical control points, establish critical limits for each CCP, develop procedures to monitor CCP, to create a food safety record keeping system, and finally to validate and verify the system. So this is the advantage of ISO 22000, which can work along with HACCP. Here we will see ISO 22000 related standards and their area of application. ISO 22000 Food Safety Management Systems requirements for any organization in the food chain. ISO 22001 as a guidelines on the application of ISO 9001-2000 for the food and drink industry. ISO 22002 is related as prerequisite programs on food safety part 1 related to food manufacturing. ISO 22003 is food safety management systems for bodies providing audit and certification of food safety management systems. ISO 22004, it is for food safety management systems as a guidance on the application of ISO 22000-2005. And finally, ISO 22005 is related to traceability in the feed and food chain as a general principles and basic requirements for system design and implementation. Now we are at the end of today's lecture. This is a very vast topic. Some of the topics I have given little more details, though for actual UG students or evaluation that much details is not required. Firstly, at national category I have discussed briefly about BIS, but I have discussed more details about Food Safety and Standards Act 2006 implemented by FSSAI. Then at international category, briefly I have mentioned about WTO, then ICMSF, EEC, and also discussed about the international standard, that is ISO. So the brief lecture is given in the printed note. You must see the lecture and read the notes also. Thank you.